How are you doing? I want to appreciate everybody in the group, especially our solvers. Those of you that have made your time to solve one or two or all the questions posted on the group. Well done. I say more grace to your elbow. Each question you solve, so it give you a step ahead to master that concept. Even if you get it wrong, at least you see the correction and you amend. Once again, thank you and God bless you. So now before I move on with the solution, I want to appreciate everyone once again. And I want to say that I want to apologize for the error. I think there is a little error in the question for the last question. Instead of height, length was quoted in the question. That's why some got it wrong. So I've reframed the question and posted it again. So others, those who have attended it, please try it again and let's see what come out of it. Above all, you will see the correction in the solution here. Now let's start. We have 4 challenges before us. Number 1, we have a algebraic manipulation, that's change of subjects, and then after that we have matrices and determinants. We have indices and surds, as well as geometry. Those are the challenges we have before. Now let's go with the first one. That's a change of subject. Now that's algebraic manipulation. Now the question is we have to make Q the subject. If P is equal to m over 5 open bracket x plus Q close bracket plus 1. So that is it. There are different approaches that could be used to solve this one. Some might subtract 1 from both sides to have P plus 1. Yes, is equal to m over 5 into x plus Q, and they multiply through by 5, and to have a 5P minus 5 is equal to m into x plus Q, and so on and so forth. But the approach used here, now each term is multiplied by 5 to clear the fraction. So we have 5P is equal to m into x plus Q plus 5. So in that, don't forget you want to isolate Q. So in that case, we can open the brackets at the right hand side to have mx is equal plus mq plus 5 is equal to 5p. I take that again. 5p is equal to mx plus mq plus 5. That is at the right hand side. So if you want to isolate q, so all other terms from the right hand side can be moved to the left hand side. So if mx cross, it become minus mx, and 5 plus 5 crossed over, it might become minus 5. So we now have 5p minus mx minus 5 at the left hand side and mq at the right hand side. So the last step there is to divide through by m in order to isolate q completely. So we now have we multiply through by q now, both sides by q. We now have 5p minus mx minus 5 all over m. That is it. And some might get their own to be 5p minus 5 minus mx, or others could be 5 into p minus 1 all over m minus x separate. So it could be in that. So whatever one you get, if you express it as a single fraction, it will give you this. Q is equal to 5p minus mx minus 5 over m. Now let's go to the question 2 now. Second question, that is a matrix and determinant. This is a 2 by 2 matrices. So determinant, we are finding the determinant of 2 by 2 now. So x multiplied by 7, you can see the arrow, and the 2 we multiply 3, so is equal to 15. So we have 7x minus 6 is equal to 15. This is a linear equation. Now, so you now have a 7x is equal to 15 plus 6. When 6 crosses become minus 6 crosses become plus. So divide through by 7, we have our x to be equal to 3. Now, furthermore, the second one, that we have to know challenge. So this one is a combination of surds and indices. So we have 2 raised to the power square root of 2x plus 1 is equal to 32. So you express 32 as a base of 2. So because if both sides doesn't have the same base, then we cannot equate their powers. So the power could not be equated. So in that case, 32 is the same thing as 2 raised to the power 5. So we now have 2 raised to the power square root of 2x plus 1 is equal to 2 raised to the power 5. So since they have the same base now, we can equate the power to be root 2x plus 1 is equal to 5. Now to clear the square root, you will square both sides. Unlike what some of you did, that square root both sides. No. You only do the square root if you want to clear square. But here you want to clear square root. So we have to use square to clear square root. So now, doing that now, squaring both sides now. So we now have 2x plus 1 is equal to 5 squared, which is 25. And that is also a linear equation. So you collect like times. 1 will cross over, it becomes minus. So we now have 2x is equal to 25 minus 1. 2x is equal to 24. Divided through by 2 will give you 12. So our x is 12. Now the last one now, which comprises of geometry and trigonometry. Now, as I said earlier, the question is is a bit wrong, because what should be there should be, instead of length, it should be height. The height of the triangle is 10 root 3 instead of the length. Instead of length that was written in the question posted. So those of you that have attempted, I've asked you to attempt it again to see how you do it. Now, for you to solve this kind of a question, you must have a sketch of that triangle. Equilateral triangle means all the sides and all the angles are equal. So the base angle, now this time around, the height now. So the height will divide the triangle into 2 equal parts. It serves as a side line of symmetry for that triangle there. So it will divide the triangle into 2. So we have 2 right angles now, 2 right angle triangle now. So that's the upper angle, which is 60 degrees, will be divided into 2 to be 30 degrees, and we have 60 degrees at the base. Each of the base angle will be 60 degrees. So in that case now, you fill the parameters given. That is a 10 root 3 to be the height. Then we have x to be the side, because for us to find the perimeter, you need to know the side, all the sides. So let x represent the side now. So now the length now of the triangle or any of the sides. So we now have x, and we have 10 root 3, and we have the angle. So in case we have right angle triangle, now bring it out to the right angle triangle. When you say right angle triangle that involve angles, the first thing that should come to your mind is SOHCAHTOA. So now, writing that SOHCAHTOA, what are we going to use now? You can use anyone. Some can use sine, some can use tan. Depends. You can use tan, you can use sine, you can use cos. But in this case, I make use of sine. You can use sine 30 is equal to, okay, no even need that one. That's a cos 30 adjacent to hypotenuse, or cos 60 is equal, or sine 60 is equal to opposite of hypotenuse. So I use sine 60 now. Sine 60 is equal to opposite of hypotenuse, which is a 10 root 3 over x. X is what we are looking for. So if you now to solve for x now, you cross multiply now, and now our x will now be 10 root 3 all over sine 60. So sine 60 from the from the standard angle now, that we have sine 60 is equal to root 3 over 2. And you can use fourth figure table if you like, you still get it approximately. So then using that now, so substituting for sine 60 now, 10 root 3 over root 3 over 2, yeah, which is sine 60 now. Sine 60, so that will give us then you now say 10 root 3 times 2 over what? Over root 3 now. Root 3 will cancel root 3. Then we now have 10 multiplied by 2. So our x is 10 times 2, which is 20 centimeter. Mind you, that's not where we are going. We have to calculate the perimeter. So to get the perimeter now, you add all the 3 sides together. That is total distance around the triangle. That's x plus x, which is 3x. And that's 3 times 20. X is 20. So our perimeter is 60 degrees. Our perimeter is 60 degrees. Now, let me add this. Those of us that want to write WAEC, if you write 60 without putting centimeter there, you are wrong. You might get your methodology, your steps, but the accuracy, the final answer will be missed. So, and you can use just 1 mark or thereabout there. So please avoid that. Avoid that. Try and what? And format your work in an accurate, in the right degree. Format your work in the right unit, so to say, for write the right unit there. If it is angle, let the degree be there, and so on and so forth. Now let's look at the synthesis and the strategic exam tip that you can use. For subject or formula, you clear fraction first by multiplying through, then group term to isolate whatever you want to isolate. For the determinants, always use this rule. Now this a multiplied by b minus b, no, multiplied by d minus b multiplied by c. Then you double check your negative sign. At times that negative sign in between, with any of the sign, double check to avoid error in that whenever you are expanding. Then for the third one, indices, then before equating power, make sure the bases are the same. The bases must be the same before, they must share the same base, or the bases are the same at both sides before you can equate their power. Then for geometry, you have the standard trigonometry surd. You can memorize, or if you don't memorize it, you can sketch the equilateral triangle, and from there you get it. So you get, or isosceles triangle for angle 45 to get whatever that one for that standard trig ratio there, or the value, or the special angle, so to say, special, and the value for special angle, so to say, that's angle 30, angle 60, and angle 45 there. So those are the things that we need to do. These are the tips you need to follow. For those of you that are writing JAM, you may not necessarily need all those, because what you are needed is the right answer. And even in that, please watch for the right units, because in the options you might have the same value of different units, so be careful of that. So thank you once again. We'll see you tomorrow by God's